What's up YouTube, I'm the Calcara131 and this is my review of the ball and dummy drill. So for those of you that don't know, the ball and dummy drill is a drill often used to both diagnose and to a certain extent help cure a flinch. I'm mainly going to be going over how to cure it, but I'll also go over how to use a variation to diagnose if somebody has a flinch when they're shooting. Alright, so the variation that you use of this to help diagnose if someone is flinching or not requires you and a buddy, whoever you're trying to figure out if they have a flinch or not. What you're going to do is you're going to need some live rounds and some dummy rounds, inert training rounds. You're going to get them up on the firing line, wherever that may be. You're going to stand behind them, take a magazine, and you're going to either load a dummy round or a live round. So whenever I do this, I always load 1 or 2 live rounds first. Load live round. Load it in their gun behind them so they don't know which is which. And then pass it up to them. Alright, so they're going to shoot it like normal. Load another one just for fun. And now, after 1, 2, 3 live rounds, you're going to mix it up and put them a dummy round in. They won't know it's a dummy round. That's the whole point of this drill. They're going to be expecting another live round, and that's how you're going to tell if they have a flinch or not. So, you do admittedly, it's ideal to have dummy rounds, but technically, for this part, you don't need them. You could just drop the slide on an empty chamber, but if they have a flinch, whenever they're expecting a live round, they're going to jerk their gun a bit whenever it's a dummy round and nothing goes off. That's how you use this drill to help diagnose if somebody is actually flinching or not. So the variation of this to actually help cure a flinch. Magazine, you're just going to alternate between loading live rounds and dummy rounds. Live round, dummy round, live, dummy. The whole point of this drill is you know which is which. So ideally when you're up there shooting, you shouldn't have any reason to flinch because you know it's going to be live or a dummy. Alright, so my first round is a live round. So I'm going to drop this on an empty chamber so I can dry fire it first. Square up to your target, pick wherever you want to shoot. There is no round in this. This is basically a dummy round, so there's no point for me to flinch. This is just a basic dry fire trigger press. Okay, click, no bang, what do? Tap rack. Because you had a live round and it went off, it loaded that dummy round. Now you know it's a dummy round, every other. So the idea is, you know it's going to be a dummy round, there's no point to flinch. Okay, click, bang. Alright, you saw I stuttered and flinched a little bit in there. There's a reason I do this, because I know I have a flinch. I try and do about 50 rounds of this, 50 live rounds of this, every range trip I go on. And I've been doing this for a couple months, and let me tell you guys, it really does work. After some time and you put some reps in with it, it really does help you as far as a flinch. The only issue is going to be, if you shoot outside like I do, just be prepared to buy a whole lot of these, because unless you have a buddy here to help keep track of where they go, you use these a lot. You lose them all the time. So there is some tricks you can use if you want to help save these dummy rounds. The range I go to, for instance, they have this little sort of covered pavilion built here. I try to shoot right next to it. So a lot of the time, whenever I tap rack, these are going to just get ejected here so I can save them. But don't expect it all the time. You definitely lose these dummy rounds quite a lot. So that's the ball and dummy drill. Like I said, it's a really good training tool that you can use to both diagnose and over time help cure a flinch. You need some dummy rounds to do the curing part, but they're not super expensive. Just buy them up look online, buy them up, use them to train, get better, push yourself to be faster, you know? If you can do it slow, you always get it, speed up a bit. Find what your limits are and push past them. I'm the Kakara 131, signing off.